Hello Internet, welcome to another video of Bazzle Spot Live. We're back here on Sunday, which is unusual, isn't it? With a brand new team. So, last week I was basically moaning about this team, which is right next to it, and how I would change it. Maybe Bulu, maybe swap in the Lunala for maybe Ho-Oh or Yveltal perhaps as well too. But, I'll make some changes to that at some point. I've basically been trying out something a little bit different, and this is what I've thrown together. Obviously it's not solid, it's not overly tested just yet, but I think it could be fun. So let's jump on Battlespot, do some games, see what happens. Seems to be like sort of catchphrase, that doesn't it? Let's see what happens. So here we go. So you might remember on Friday, if you watched that video, my prophecy that we'd all have really good weekends because I won the last battle. Well, I'm not. Yesterday was pretty unlucky for me. Topped off by the NBL game, which if you haven't watched yet, then it was on yesterday. So yeah, have fun with that one. But what have we got here? We've got Groudon. So Groudon is actually picking up in usage now, which is interesting because it was kind of forgotten about at the beginning of this Sun series. I am in fact using Groudon myself here too, but I'm going to be supporting it a little bit differently. I'm sure, as if most of you watching this probably know me, you can probably look at this team and think, yeah, I know what's going to go. I know what's going to happen. But we're going to lead with Sableye and Lunala. You're seeing some interesting items here at the bottom, and I think we will definitely go with Groudon. Groudon does support Lunala pretty well because it hits Incineroar. The downside is it doesn't really hit Yveltal, which is still a problem for this. I think that the worst thing that I could come against with this team is a Kartana, probably. So I'm hoping that we don't find any of those. The last slot, well, what do we want? The Xerneas could be an issue. So I'm thinking either between Lilligant or Nihilego. And I think we'll go with Lilligant just to try and show it off, see what we've got on it. Hopefully you enjoy this then, and hopefully I get to show off the tricks with the team. Here we go. So I can't remember his rating. It was positive, wasn't it? I've literally only done these battles, that I've put on YouTube really. So Groudon and Incineroar. Okay, so double red lead. One of them is a fire type. The other one isn't. But here we go. So Drag goes first, as you'd expect. Then Intimidate, and you'll see a pretty nifty item that I've got on my Lunala now. So there we go. There's my Adrenaline Orb, which means that knockoff is not going to one-shot me. And it also means that I'm faster than Scarf, Kyogres, and anything that is, Kartanas maybe, anything that is faster than Lunala normally. So he can't fake out any of my Pokemon. The Groudon is threatening damage, but I'm just going to go for a Gravity here and a Hypnosis. So Lunala learns Hypnosis. I'm going to go for it into his Incineroar, hoping that his Groudon goes for a Precipice Blades and eject buttons out my Sableye. That would be the best case scenario. So Suicune's come in. It's going to go to sleep. Here's Gravity. So Hypnosis is 100% accurate now. If you're unaware of the gravity mechanics, it basically makes things a bit more accurate and sticks things to the floor too. And he has gone for a Precipice Blades. So my Shadow Shield is broken, but I'm getting a free switch with my eject button into maybe my. I could go into either of these. Lilligant obviously threatens the Groudon, but he's got the Incineroar in the back, so I'm going to put my Groudon in, and I'm pretty safely set up, I think. So you might remember in 2016, I ran Gravity with Mega Gengar and the Red Orb Groudon, Primal Groudon with Sword Stance and everything, and that's pretty much what I'm going with here too. So I'm going to Sword Stance because it is basically a free Hypnosis into his Groudon. He hasn't got any Lele, or he actually has got a Lele. He hasn't got any Finny or Coco, which is what I'm trying to say. So and the Suicune can't wake up this turn as well. So both of his Pokemon are taking the first turn to sleep this turn. Suicune might have Roar, but we can start doubling into things next turn for a decent amount of damage. His Groudon Let's have a look at the Precipice Blade's damage on my Lunala. Is it enough to knock us out? Can we survive another one? Yeah, we can survive another one. That's only about a quarter, isn't it? So it'll do about half if he wakes up and hits us. Because I'm thinking, I'm going to go for a Precipice Blades now. And I think, which one's more powerful? Moongeist Beam or Psyshock into Suicune? I'm going to guess it's Moongeist Beam. I'll just double into the Suicune here. Don't want it to Roar, don't want it to Tailwind or Icy Wind or anything tricky like that. Obviously, the downside of using a team like this is you are kind of relying on sleep turns inevitably at some point. His Groudon also seems to be timid, jolly, or timid, max speed, because he tried to move first, and we one-shot the, take out the Suicune from where it was and do a lot of damage to his Groudon. Because we have got a Life Orb, so my Groudon has got an Orb of some kind. It's just one of Life instead of one of Red. So we'll see maybe what the Incineroar will come back in, but if it does, it can't fake out my Lunala. So I could either go for a Hypnosis into the Incineroar, or just try and knock out the Groudon. Even if his Groudon wakes up, it's not really going to threaten too much, I don't think. So I'm just going to go for a Precipice Blades and Hypnosis into his Incineroar. I don't think there's much of a reason to play too defensively here. I mean, if Groudon wakes up, it's a 50-50 if it does. It's not really going to do too much, I don't think. I mean, we'll see if it does wake up. And Incineroar has got a guaranteed sleep turn next turn as well. So it just Precipice Blades. Hopefully there's no critical hits or anything. But yeah, we do both survive that. Gravity is probably going to be ending soon. After next turn, is it? Yeah. So we've got one more turn of Gravity. So we haven't seen his last Pokemon, have we? Are we expecting a Xerneas at this point? I think I go for a Precipice Blades here, which will knock out the Incineroar, but you would expect him to protect the Groudon and get a free switch into his Xerneas, wouldn't you? So, I don't know, I'm thinking maybe do I withdraw Groudon for Sableye so I can start putting things to sleep again? Actually, I think I am. Or do I? Because like just knocking the Incineroar out would be nice. But I don't want to let the Xerneas just set up, which is potentially what I am doing. If the Groudon does protect here, which it doesn't. Yeah, okay, so I could have gone for an attack there into the Groudon, but the Hypnosis, I guess, covers the Xerneas switch in. The Hypnosis guarantees it's not going to attack this turn as well, so I can Precipice Blade, knock out both of his Pokemon. But now, if it is Xerneas in the back, do I have an issue? I'm not sure. I mean, Groudon is set up, so it is going to hurt it if it just lets me attack it. Oh, it's Ferrothorn. Okay, so not even a Xerneas. Okay, well, interestingly enough, the 2016 Groudon that I had didn't have Fire Punch. I went for Rock Tomb as my kind of coverage attack. And this year, Groudon is not a Fire type, and I have got Fire Punch on it. So, there's the logic with that. So, we'll just double into the Ferrothorn. I'm sure he'll forfeit, but nope, he doesn't. Maybe he wants to watch the animation. Maybe he wants to see if I've got a fire attack, which is definitely fair enough. But yeah, this first game went pretty much as well as we could have expected, really. It did exactly what I wanted the team to do. Okay. And there we go. Yeah, I was wondering if Groudon was going to survive that. A Life Orb and Iron Barb's recoil. But yeah, nice. So there you go. Here's it's all going to go downhill from here, isn't it? But there you go. There's Gravity used in 2019 now. So you know, always finding a way to make it work. Let's look for another game then. So I mean, maybe if you've seen this on Showdown, then yeah, it was obviously me using it. I've laddered a little bit on there. Like I've still not generally played much Showdown at all, really. But I've done some games with this team on there and laddered up a little bit. I quite like it, but Showdown's never a good indicator because you know, people maybe don't focus on the games as much on Showdown. But this guy has also got a Xerneas and a Groudon. Okay, so the pair of Xerneas and Groudon's making a bit of a comeback, perhaps. He has got a Coco though, so I do need to be wary of the terrain if I'm going to try and put things to sleep. I think I'm just going to lead with Sableye Lunala again now. I definitely want Groudon in this one, but I kind of want Lilligant, and I kind of want Lele, and I kind of want Nihilego too. I mean, Nihilego is just this thing that's been sitting here, not talked about at all. I hardly use it, to be honest, but I think Nihilego has got, like, its time is to come in this form. I think it's a pretty good Pokemon. It hits, I mean, like every year, really, it hits a lot of common things for super effective damage, and kind of walls Xerneas as well. But do we want the Lele here? Or do we want Nihilego or Lilligant? Because again, I'm a little bit worried about his Xerneas. I think we do go with the Lele just to be careful. One thing I quite like about this combination with Sableye is Sableye is usually the slowest thing on the field. Although this guy has got a Bronzong, I suppose. So I usually get the last switch into the Lele so that I can, you know, put things to sleep with Hypnosis and the other move that I've got on this team, which you haven't seen yet actually, and won't in this battle because the Lilligant isn't here. But there's the Bronzong. Okay. So he can't fake out either of my Pokemon. What do we want to do then? Because we could put one of his Pokemon to sleep. He has got Groudon in his team, hasn't he? Maybe it's a slow Groudon then to utilize Trick Room. I'm thinking maybe I even just protect and taunt the Bronzong. Like, that would make some sense. So I think we'll do that actually. It could have a Mental Herb. If it has, whoops, I suppose. If he goes for a knockoff into my Sableye, then I won't be ejected out from the eject button. He has to Flare Blitz into me to eject me out. Because I do want Sableye next turn. He's actually just protecting his Bronzong, which is interesting. Is he just going for a knockoff into Lunala then? Makes sense. No, he's U-turning, which denies his U-turn and actually swaps me out, which is really not what I wanted, to be honest. Because now I'm stuck. Yeah, I kind of made that move assuming that I would have my Sableye next turn for the Gravity. So, yeah, it's kind of gone wrong now, isn't it? So I'll put Groudon in. Obviously threatens the Incineroar. And the Bronzong, if it's heat-proof, which it might be. But how do we go about this turn? Because he hasn't got any Intimidates to switch in. Nothing really that he's got wants to switch in on two attacks like this. So maybe I do just attack. Maybe it is that simple. I mean, a Bronzong has just protected. Yeah, I think I will just go for a Precipice Blades. No gravity, so I am, you know, running the risk of you know, the 85% accuracy. Lunala, like, I'm just thinking, okay, I could Moongeist Beam into the Bronzong. If it is heat-proof, I knock it out, assuming my move's hit. Or I could Hypnosis it, which would give me a lot of mileage, but I think I'm just going to, you know, go for the safer options, you know, and just attack. He hasn't switched his Incineroar out, interestingly, too. Wow, that one-shot Bronzong with a critical hit. Okay, so we'll never know if it was heat-proof or Levitate. I have seen a surprising number of heat-proof Bronzong this year so far. But, I mean, I don't know. I would always assume Levitate is going to be the most common ability, but you never know. So if he's got his Xerneas, then that is really the thing that I'm worried about most. Yeah, and here's the Xerneas, so do I double into it and Groudon too? And I've got Sableye in the back and Tapu Lele, haven't I? So this could get sticky. And this is where I would really like to have my Sableye in to taunt the Xerneas. Or even just get Gravity up, so I can Hypnosis it. Groudon, his Groudon isn't really threatening much. I think I potentially lose by wasting a turn by switching Groudon out. So I think I'll Precipice Blades here, because it will do a lot of damage either way. And I think I'm Moongeist Beam into the Groudon. I think he is going to think the Xerneas is the bigger threat, and maybe he protects that. But if we do hit our attacks, his Groudon will be going down. I have got Sableye with Quash in the back. I'm hoping, and it might not be the case, but I'm hoping that... Oh, actually, Precipice Blades might not knock out his Groudon. Maybe I'm underestimating the power here. I was hoping the combination of Precipice Blades and a Psyshock would knock out his Xerneas. But I don't know, I kind of need his Groudon to go down here because I need my Shadow Shield to survive an attack from the Xerneas. So Groudon, oh well, wonderful. Okay, well, he hits the one that he needs to. Ouch. And just like that, I think the game is lost, to be honest. And that really is what I was worried about, because I needed that Precipice Blades damage. With a Life Orb, I'm pretty sure Precipice Blades is a 2-hit KO on Xerneas, but there's not really much I can do now. So I'll protect my Groudon, and do I try and attack, or do I try and get a last-ditch Hypnosis? Because if I get Hypnosis, then I'm actually not looking too bad again. I think I'll try and be cheeky. Let's go for a Hypnosis. He might just Moonblast into Lunala anyway, though. I would kind of expect him to. But no, he's done it into the Groudon. If we hit this Hypnosis, which we do, then we're still in a somewhat decent position then. Because surely, from his perspective, my Groudon is the bigger threat. It's the thing that is doing damage to his Xerneas. All these misses. Crazy, isn't it? So we'll go for another Precipice Blades. I know it is, again, inaccurate, but I need to do damage while the Xerneas is asleep. Fire Punch isn't stab anymore. It's weak, basically. So let's double into the Xerneas. And yeah, I mean, I've got Lele in the back, which will beat the Groudon. I just need to knock out this Xerneas. So now we'll find out if a combination of Psyshock and Precipice Blades knocks it out. Hopefully it does. Oh, no, I don't think it does. And another miss. Wow. And his Groudon does survive that, as I kind of expected it to. And it's got Berry too. Wow. So now we're relying on sleep turns again. I can't believe I missed... I mean, okay, he's missed what? Well, he's missed 2 Precipice Blade hits as well. I've missed 3 now. It's not good, is it? I mean, maybe my options this turn is maybe protect Groudon, switch into Sableye so that I can quash it and attack it, but then I'm risking another turn of it waking up, and I just need to attack the Xerneas. I just need to hope that it stays asleep. That is literally the only way that I can win this game now, if it stays asleep for another turn. So this is Gravity, and I'm fully aware that I actually need to hit the move as well. I'm fully aware that this is one of the downsides of using Gravity. How many times have we missed? I mean, okay, we've won the game because we've hit the Xerneas and it stayed asleep, so we can relax, but that's just Gravity, isn't it? That's just teams like this. So many dice rolls. And that's kind of why it's fun to use teams like this. Just because it is, you know, like gambling. Yeah, not that I'm, you know, saying go out and gamble and stuff. But, you know, it's kind of the thrill of, you know, what dice rolls am I going to get kind of thing. Especially when it's in games like this that don't really matter. I hope some of you understand what I'm saying. I'm not a raging gambler or anything like that. Never gambled on anything. Aside from Boy beating Geo. Got one of the parties after Worlds this year. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing we can do here. I mean, Sableye, like if I Gravity, then I make his Precipice Blades more accurate. So Feint, Taunt, Quash all do absolutely nothing here. I can do things to myself, can't I? Yeah, so I can do things to myself. Sounds kind of strange. So I'll just, I mean, I'm again assuming that this knocks out the Groudon. It might not, but here we go, Sableye. You can do something. He taunts my own Lele, which I'm Scarfed anyway. So yeah, it does knock out with the critical. I'm in Psychic Terrain. I am max special attack. I don't think that mattered. It hasn't got the best special defense. So I don't know. There's a lot of stuff going on in that game. Lots of dice rolls, and that is basically Gravity 101, isn't it? You know, hope your opponent stays asleep. I even hit the Hypnosis too. You know, just I'm gonna hit that overheat yesterday. Oh dear. Relax, Barry. Forget the game. It's done. It's over with. So we'll look for one more game, and we'll you know, let's see where it goes, won't we? Let's pick some different music as well. Let's have Island Kahuna. Why not? So yeah, I mean, if I had a different Pokemon in the back instead of Lele, because he didn't take the Coco. If I had Lilligant in the back, then okay, it might have been a better situation for us. If we had Nihilego in the back, perhaps as well, but the Nihilego hasn't got a sash on it, so we're at the risk of just to protect Precipice Blades knocking it out sort of thing. So I'm not sure Nihilego would have actually done anything there. Maybe the Lilligant instead would have, but this guy has got a Coco as well. Coco is you know, pretty common, so it's not surprised to see it really. I don't know. I'm wondering, like, because from my experience, I don't think too many people bring Coco against this, which is obviously fantastic. You know, because I can just put things to sleep for free. But I'm wondering why. Like, so I've got Lele, I've got Nihilego, I've got Groudon, which all do threaten it, I suppose. It doesn't really hit Lilligant for much either. So I'm just wondering why people might not bring the Coco. But I mean, looking at the team, I don't know. Maybe now it's on YouTube and you've all seen it. You know, maybe people will associate this with sleep and needing the terrain, but how are we going to go about this then? I mean, again, I'm thinking Sableye Lunala. It's a new Sableye Gengar, isn't it? I'm just thinking, like, sometimes against teams like this, I would lead Sableye Lilligant in case they had any Voltol or something, but they've only got the Incineroar there, so it's not a massive issue. And you know what? Just to see if we can do something, I will bring Lilligant. I'm kind of thinking I want Lele, but obviously for the terrain. But maybe he doesn't bring the Coco. He probably does, to be honest. But I want to see if we can get Lilligant doing something. I want to show off the moveset at least in the first video of Gravity 19. So here it is straight away. Ludicolo and Coco. So maybe the Coco is sashed or assault vested. He's got a Kyogre, so I wouldn't expect it to be scarfed. But yeah, this isn't great actually, is it? Because we can't put anything to sleep. We don't really threaten any one-shots on anything. I am going to Gravity though, so that I can get the Groudon threatening things. And Lunala, I don't really want to switch that into Groudon, so I'm just going to stay in. Obviously not going to Hypnosis anything. I think I will just Psyshock into the Ludicolo. Unless I'm really fearing a Sash on the Coco, I can just one-shot that with Precipice Blades. This might be Incineroar coming in. No, it's Kyogre, so I'm pretty satisfied with that then. Because a nice chunk with Psyshock is a nice chunk. We have got the Gravity up as well. If the Coco goes for a Dazzle and Gleam, which I'm kind of hoping it to do, it'll eject the Sableye into something else. But he's probably just attacking into the Lunala, yeah. So he does. No paralysis, thankfully. And that does a nice chunk of damage. I'm appreciating that chunk of damage. So Lunala has taken how much damage? 80 damage is that? Is that 80? Is my brain actually working properly? Yeah, that's 80 damage, isn't it? So, looks like I can't survive another Thunder. I mean, it looks like it'd be close, doesn't it? But I mean, on the numbers, I'm not going to. So what I'm going to do then is, this feels like I'm bringing Groudon in on a Origin Pulse, which I'm really not comfortable with, but this makes Thunder 50% accurate. So hopefully he'll either miss it or, you know, maybe get a lower roll perhaps. But I mean, if the Kyogre Scarfed as well, I don't know. It looks tricky. If Groudon sticks around, we're not looking too bad though, because I can just bring Lilligant in. It is Thunder, and it actually goes to the Thunder into the other thing, into what was the Sableye, which is fine. And then 2 Psyshocks does knock out the Kyogre, so good. So we've got a weather here. He had, what, Ludicolo in the back and something else. So he's bringing the Ludicolo back in. But what do we do here? I feel like Groudon is very worthwhile here. I think I'm going to protect the Groudon and just go for a Psyshock again into the Ludicolo. I don't expect it to fake out, but I mean, it covers the fake out play as well, and he has done it. He might Thunder into the Lunala. He does hit, but it is 50% accurate, and this will knock me out. So, you know, it's a shame that he hit that, but it is 50-50. It's equal odds either way. But this does mean that I can basically bring in my Lilligant now, finally, and try and do some business with this. So what have we seen from Coco? Thunder. Just lots of Thunders. Maybe it's Specs? Have we seen anything but Thunder? I don't think we have we? I mean, if we... I'm thinking... if it's Assault Vested, this Ludicolo might survive. But I'm going to double into this Ludicolo here. So at least can't miss because we are still in Gravity. That's a nice chunk of damage. And a Fire Punch, I think, should finish it off. Lilligant, okay, so he misses that Thunder. So he's 50-50 on his Thunders now. Does knock out the Ludicolo, which is fantastic. So we'll get to see what his last Pokemon is now. If that Coco is trapped in with Thunder, then obviously it can't touch Groudon. So it's just down to Necrozma. Ooh. Alrighty then. Well, that makes things very interesting. So we've got one more turn, I think, of Gravity and Electric Terrain. Okay. He's surely just going to target into my Groudon. I'm not intimidated, and I am Life Orb boosted. I don't see any other option but just to Precipice Blade here. Because... yeah, I'm going to go for a Precipice Blades, and we are still in the sun. I'm going to go for an After You, but I'm just going to show you the moveset, seeing as I've actually got Lilligant here. I've actually got Grass Whistle on this Lilligant, because obviously Sleep Powder is more accurate, but it doesn't put grass types to sleep. Grass Whistle does. I'm kind of expecting this is Choice Specs Coco then, so Groudon's going to go first, going to hopefully knock it out. And I'm hoping that this is going to do enough damage to Necrozma so that I can... Leaf Storm it and knock it out, but it doesn't look like it is, does it? Because he's obviously going to be targeting the Groudon here. Yeah, like surely he has to target into the Groudon here. So I'm just left with Lilligant and Sableye versus a +2/+2 Necrozma Duskmane. So the game's not over, but but it's looking fairly over. just if I had foul play on Sableye. And that's one of the things that I have been toying around with too. If I have got, if I did have foul play on this Sableye, then it might have been closer. I would have obviously had to rely on a turn of sleep as well. But we're going to go for Gravity, and we'll get to see the Grass Whistle now. So this is 91% accurate, is it, I want to say? Interesting that he went for a Protect there. Maybe to stall out the Sun. But I could have fainted, but I needed the Gravity. That was fair enough in protecting. So yeah, it was the last turn of Sun, but Lilligant is max speed, and it was always faster than the Necrozma. So now, no need to quash, no need to taunt, so Feint does do a little bit of damage. And a Grass Whistle because I need the turns here. So this is it. This can my two little supporty things chip away at this Necrozma Duskmane. That did like probably 1 HP. Grass Whistle does hit. I think it is 91% accurate. My Leaf Storms can't miss either. I am at -2 though, obviously. So yeah, I mean I've got to attack. I have got to attack. So go on Feint. You've got the damage there. Leaf Storm. So this is what happens when the team comes unstuck, I suppose. Yeah, it does nothing. And Leaf Storm's going to do nothing too, but at least it's going to hit. With a critical hit, we might actually get it. Ooh, that's a decent chunk, isn't it? It stays asleep. Is Leaf Storm going to get it? And if it doesn't, does 2 Feints and Leaf Storm get it? Because he has to target my Lilligant. I've got a Focus Sash. I've still got my Sash intact. We could actually win this. In fact, I think we might have won this. So again, Leaf Storm can't miss. We're in Gravity. There you go. That's how Sableye and Lilligant beats a Necrozma Duskmane. So I was right just to go for an After You Christmas Blades. I was iffy if it would put it into range of, Feint and Leaf Storm range, and apparently with, I mean, I don't even think I needed the sleep roll there, because if he woke up first turn, he would have had to have targeted my Lilligant. I've got the Focus Sash from Lilligant, so I would have survived. We would have gone for a Grass Whistle, Feint Grass Whistle next turn as well, and we saw that the amount of times I attacked it was enough to knock it out there too. So couldn't miss with the Gravity 2. So there you go. That's Gravity in VGC 19. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be uploading more throughout the week, and again, I'm going to be trying to be active this year on YouTube, a lot more than I was last year. Much more than I was last year. So please come join me, and I'll see you next week for some more games with Gravity. So I'll see you then. Bye for now.